Jim Hawley and Jens Lundy have known each other practically all their lives.
He's more like, almost like a brother, you know, somebody I could never get rid of if I wanted to. You know, we'll always be friends.
Hey, do you remember the life jackets?
Yeah, I got them. You worry about flying the plane.
We've always been really close friends.
Here they come.
The friends have asked their fathers to join them for a weekend of fishing in Mexico. They hope that the trip will prove a turning point in their relationships.
I hadn't seen Jens probably in 3 or 4 years. We kind of drifted apart.
When I called my dad, I don't know that he put as much thought into, I'll get to hang out with my kid.
Hi, Dad.
And really just have that dad-kid friend relationship that I was looking for. But he was real receptive because I had said the magic word fishing.
Jim gets off to a good start with his dad.
So I finally get to see the aviator in action.
One of my first thoughts was how impressed I was with Jim at his meticulous checking of the aircraft.
Well, I had no idea that it took so much work to get such a small plane off the ground.
Well, once you're in...
That wasn't the Jim that I knew as kind of a helter-skelter, do it quick, do it now kind of a person.
Better be safe than sorry, right?
Yeah.
But for Jens, getting to know his dad again is proving tough.
Can I take the rod?
No.
I also love the responsibility, and some would call it risk.
Jim has been flying for 3 years and has clocked up over 200 hours in the air. From Arizona, it's a 3.5-hour hop to the small Mexican port of Loreto on the Baja California coast. To the south, the sparkling waters of the Sea of Cortez teem with marine life. There are tuna, marlin, and yellowtail. But it's also home to 150 different types of shark and a highly unpredictable giant Humboldt squid.
Getting all this, Dad?
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah, this flight was smooth. We could see the water was beautiful, and the sun was up, and clear skies.
Loretta Tower, Mooney, November 201, Juliet Mike. I'm about 30 miles out. I see a lot of weather building in front of me. Can you give me an idea of the weather at the airport?
I had kind of a premonition that something was going to go on with this, something was going to happen.
I was beginning to get pretty concerned. I couldn't raise anyone.
Okay, guys, I'm going to take us through this. We'll make better time.
Jim thinks it's just a squall, but he's actually flying into a violent storm.
It was just a real weird mix of waking up and trying to figure out where in the story I was in the opera and what was going on in the plane at that point.
It was alarming because it was so sudden. I didn't see any indications that it was that severe until we were in it.
Jim, what's happening?
It was one of those types of storms that it was getting worse by the second. And then it started to get turbulent, and I think I saw a lightning strike or two really close.
We're in the storm, and there's no up, there's no down.
I looked at everybody else's faces. They kind of had a look of concern, but they're looking at me to see if I have a look of concern.
Take us up.
Good. I'd like to have my stomach back.
As soon as we were heading the other direction, the sky got blue, the turbulence stopped, the rain stopped.
Everybody okay?
I didn't think you felt the bumps in first class.
Their sense of relief doesn't last long.
It was very alarming when the engine quit. It just sort of grenaded.
What's happened, son?
I don't know.
There's a single propeller blade stuck in the vertical position right in front of us.
It was like the hand of God reached up and shook the plane.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
What?
And he kind of gave me the, hang on, let's figure this out.
Can you get it started?
There was kind of silence in the plane for a few minutes.
I can't.
I realized that nothing had happened that I was expecting to happen. I was expecting the plane to cartwheel and come apart in pieces.
We're alive.
A plane was not meant to float. It was gonna sink. I was getting out of the plane.
I opened the handle and kicked the door open. And I just undid my seatbelt and jumped out.
We decided to better get the hell out of the aircraft.
Jim was still in the pilot seat, and I was reaching in going, come on, come on, come on, come on, get out, get out, get out.
It was so stormy. I mean, the wind was blowing so hard, the waves were so big and crashing, and it seemed like the sea was going to swallow anything, including us. The airplane began to sit lower and lower into the water within just a few moments.
The men have no choice. They grab hold of anything that will keep them afloat and jump into the terrifying seas. If a bolt strikes the water even several feet away from the men, the shock could still kill them.
Okay.
Jim is getting increasingly anxious about his father.
My dad had now become very quiet. He was just sort of staring straight ahead, almost like he's in a daze.
It's an hour since they ditched, and their situation is becoming desperate.
Did you hear that? What? Hey!
As his friend's father continues to deteriorate, Jens reaches a decision.
I was worried about John. I couldn't handle watching John die. I didn't want to be there for that.
Jim! Jim!
Jens and Jim separated from us for some reason.
We need to get help for your dad! I don't think anyone's coming! I'm gonna try and make it ashore!
My plan at that point was to leave Jim with my dad to care for my dad in case something happened.
Okay, let's do it! No, Jim! On my own!
And I said, come on, you know, that's... Are you gonna swim by you gonna swim alone? You're just gonna leave us and swim alone?
That doesn't make sense! We should swim together!
I had already made up my mind at that point that I was leaving.
Jim, I need you to stay here. I need you to look after your dad. He's sick, Jim. He might not make it. And if he goes, I need you to take care of my dad. I don't want him to be on his own. Look, I need to go get help. I need to go now. Okay.
Jens was so insistent, and his logic seemed sound.
We'll all make it out of this, I promise.
My concern at that point was that my dad would recognize that I was leaving before I was far enough away.
Okay. I don't want my dad coming after me. You stay here until I'm out of sight, and then go back and tell him.
I said, I'll see you later on tonight or tomorrow, and you know, you just keep swimming in that direction, and I'll do the same. And if they find me before they find you, I'll know where you're at, and vice versa.
We'll all make it out of this alive.
I could see him, and then I couldn't see him because of the waves, and then I could see him, and I couldn't see him.
They were one wave farther away, and then 2 waves farther away, and 3, and it just kept going until 300 yards away, you couldn't see him anymore.
Jens has only a vague idea in which direction the land lies. If he gets it wrong, he could end up swimming further out to sea. Jens is swimming in the right direction, but what he doesn't realize is that land is 10 miles away. An almost impossible swim through such heavy seas. Even if he makes it, a treacherous reef blocks his route to shore. The men have now been in the water for 8 hours.
I was wondering, how far has he made it? How far has he made it? And I remember looking at my watch and then trying to calculate in my head how much speed he could be making through the water to shore and just, peering off into the distance.
As night fell, the storm subsided. But Jens still has many hours swimming ahead of him before he can reach land and raise the alarm.
I'd been swimming for nearly 6 hours. I was thirsty, really thirsty.
Exhausted, Jens faces a new ordeal. A swarm of stinging jellyfish.
It felt like when your hand goes to sleep or your foot goes to sleep, just in little spots all over. And they were getting in my shorts, which is not a place you really want jellyfish.
The barrage of stings push Jens's already exhausted body to the verge of total collapse. Out in open water, John, Jim, and Bill wait. The men have no idea what lurks beneath them.
We didn't talk about what dangers in the water. We were in the water, there was no way to get out of it, so if I began worrying about it or talking about it or creating a situation in my mind, I thought, well, that's not going to be good.
What the hell was that?
What?
I felt something. It felt warm. It brushed against my legs.
I knew for sure there was something else in the water with us then.
Are you okay?
I don't know.
It brought back also to the reality that, hey, maybe something is stalking us.
Jim knows these waters are full of dangerous predators. One of the most feared is the giant Humboldt squid.
The squid are very aggressive, and they're very large, and they're very capable of killing a person. They are very easily provoked into a frenzy. And if you're in the water during that time, it could be very dangerous.
Mexican fishermen call the jumbo squid Diablos Rojos, red devils. They can grow up to 7 feet long and weigh more than 100 pounds. The squid's powerful tentacles pull the prey into its mouth, where it tears it to shreds with its razor-sharp beak. Whatever was stalking the men has gone away for now. All they can do is pray it won't come back. Jens has been swimming for over 10 hours. He's almost no strength left and is close to despair.
That's when I started hearing something. And couldn't really figure out at first what it was that I was hearing.
Jens is still struggling to find his way through the hazardous reef. Finally, after 2 hours, he sees something.
that was just, it was amazing. As I swam farther and farther south, I saw a light on the beach. It was a Mexican fisherman that had camped out on this beach.
He doesn't get the reaction he was expecting. The fishermen are wary. People coming ashore in the middle of the night are often drug smugglers.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. No hablo español.
The fisherman spoke no English. Not enough to communicate what happened and what I needed.
Mi amigo, they're still out there. No, I don't understand.
Cálmate.
And when I finally realized that we weren't going anywhere, I was just done. And just started crying.
Jim's condition is deteriorating. All they can do is hang on to the hope that Jens has made it ashore. Jens has made it, but any hope of rescue is still a long way off. Dawn. The warmth of the sun brings some relief to the three men still lost at sea. They are lucky to be alive, but their situation is still bleak.
As the sun got up higher and higher and we could see better, there was a very ugly reality of really how far offshore we were.
They're beginning to suspect the worst, that Jens never made it to shore and no rescuers are coming.
I'm thinking, we ought to hear something, we ought to see something, but there was nothing.
They're not looking for us. Bill, let go of the chest.
Bill did not want to let go of the ice chest, and it wasn't long before we were 50, maybe 100 feet apart. And it became apparent to Bill that he was a stationary object.
But the shore is a long way away. After more than 18 hours in the sea, the strength of all three men is nearly spent. Jens is led away by the fishermen. He has no idea where they're taking him, but he's given up trying to make himself understood.
It was horribly frustrating to not be able to tell them, look, we need to go back out there and find these other people. They are in danger. And instead of heading out to look for the others, they started taking me south.
What Jens doesn't know is that the fishermen are taking him to the port of Loretto. There, he can at last alert the authorities to mount a rescue mission. Now, he faces an agonizing wait for news.
There was a curious bunch of seagulls. They would come out and kind of hover over us and then fly back to shore. I think they were monitoring our progress or seeing if one of us was going to die so they could get an easy meal. But I remember one of the seagulls came so close to me, I actually swung at it with my hand.
The three men have been swimming for hours, and now Jim worries that his dad is pushing himself too hard.
Dad, stop swimming. Dad, you gotta keep swimming. Dad, they're here. Keep swimming, Dad. Look, they're here. Help! Dad, look. Help! Help! They're here.
The Mexican Navy, alerted by the helicopter search crew, are on their way. Jens' epic swim has saved their lives.
We could see on the deck of the boat a large party of sailors.
They were so happy to see us in the water and see us alive. I think they were happier than we were.
And a lot of their missions, all they found was bodies. And some of the young sailors were crying.
There was a great feeling of relief, but there was also a fearful moment. Even though now we were rescued, the thought recurred to me, what about Jens?
There was this crowd mulling around at the dock. And all these people that were there waiting just started clapping. And they all were kind of looking at me, looking in my face. It was kind of a, hey, that's the guy. Up until that point, I didn't realize that I was that guy.
I could see Jensen walking towards us. There was my buddy. It was a great moment.
It was so great to see him in person, and it's like, thank God, thank you, you know, that you allowed him to survive.
And Jim was the first one off the boat. And he hugged me.
I thought you were dead.
There was a huge sense of relief for the both of us to see each other again.
Yes.
And my dad came over and hugged me and told me he loved me. And that's the first time my dad had said that in years. At that point, I really felt that he did. I felt that he was proud of me.
And I still think of him as a hero.
Carl Duplessis is executive director of a thriving courier company in South Africa. He lives in Johannesburg with his wife and has 2 small children. Today, he's chartered a private plane to take him and his team on a promotional tour of Botswana.
I enjoy flying, so I don't often have an opportunity to just relax and enjoy the journey, so I was really looking forward to it.
Carl's close friend and business partner, Neb Graurak, is originally from Serbia, but now lives in Botswana with his wife. Also traveling are Mike and Lynette Nikolic. They just got married and are hoping to start a family. Lynette is from Botswana, and Mike is from Serbia like his friend Neb.
I had experience flying with the small planes, and they've always been my concern, but it's quite a normal day. Nothing really that you could sense or see there are problems.
Lynette's not so sure.
I am looking forward to the trip, but I was just feeling a bit uneasy. I thought to myself, Lynette, if you need to say anything, it should be now. But I couldn't get myself to express my feelings to anybody. It was all internal.
These entrepreneurs are used to the advantages that come with success. Today, their chartered plane is taking them from the capital of Botswana, Gaborone, to the small town of Mount, 600 miles away. It's a 2-hour flight which will take them across the vast expanse of the Kalahari, the desert whose very name means the Great Thirst.
I looked towards one wing, the engine, and I saw a bit of oil coming out of the wing.
Costa!
What?
There's oil coming from the engine.
First of all, there were drops, and then it becomes a proper brownish line.
pilot, Costa Macandonatus, tries to reassure the passengers.
It's nothing serious. Just sit back, keep your safety belts on.
Without oil, the engine will seize up and could catch fire. Costa has no choice.
Hey, what's that?
Mike. It's just a precaution. I had to shut off the port engine.
The plane should be able to fly on one engine. But in the African heat, the air is thin, and with a full passenger load, it begins to lose altitude.
We need to make a precautionary landing.
Costa radios the control tower to get his coordinates so he can find a landing strip nearby.
What are they saying?
You can't pick us up on the radar. Just look for a landing strip.
There's nothing out here. You've got to keep on flying.
I'm losing altitude. I can't. Gaborone requesting our position.
Their only lifeline is the radio.
Gaborone? Gaborone. Damn! Lost radio contact.
Costa knows he's going to have to crash land.
I took Mike's hand, I took Neb's hand, and I said, God, I'm just asking for safe passage.
All I know that I have maybe a minute or a minute and a half to live, and I'm just worried about my children.
I remember elephants running in a panic because of the aeroplane coming.
I just saw the earth coming closer and closer and closer. I know that air crashes, you really don't survive.
Put your head between your knees now!
The impact should have killed them all.
I'm still alive.
I open my eyes. I see my wife. She's burning.
The metal's burning me! Help me, Mike!
When I touch the belt to unbuckle her, I realize it's very hot and I burn myself now.
Don't worry, don't.
The plane's leaking fuel tanks could explode at any moment.
We need to get out of that as quick as possible. Your body is kind of state of shock. You try to get up and you just fall down.
Guys, please, Neb.
We realize, but there is no Neb.
Please, Neb. It's in the plane. Neb, there. Still in the plane. Let's get it.
We are panicking because we don't know how fast the aircraft's going to burn.
Are you okay? Let's get him out.
Shoulder up.
Neb, please. Is he still breathing? I don't know. Neb, it's okay.
The survivors are shocked and injured.
There's lots of blood around. My nose was broken.
Mike, Costa, and Carl's injuries are superficial. But Neb is in a bad way.
The pain was unbearable because, particularly of the ribs.
Just breathe. Just breathe.
And I actually couldn't breathe.
Lift me up. Okay, I'll got you. Let's take him to the tree. Over there.
Neb has punctured his lung. He has to prop himself up in order to breathe.
I couldn't lie down. I had to stand most of the time. And I was hugging the tree.
Lynette sustained multiple injuries in the crash. She has damaged her spine.
I couldn't move. I couldn't move my legs. As soon as I tried to lift myself up, for some reason I would feel dizzy and then I'll be forced to lie down.
And her left arm has been so badly burned that the nerves have been destroyed.
I didn't feel any pain. There was no pain at all. I was just worried about the fact that I can't get up. I can't do anything.
She needs immediate medical attention.
Don't worry. They'll come soon. We'll get you to a hospital.
The crash has destroyed the radio. But the passengers believe that the plane's emergency transmitter will soon bring rescue. Costa has calculated that they've crashed about 150 kilometers south of Maun.
So when do we leave?
I think the sooner the better.
I think it's quite easy to walk 5 kilometers an hour. If I walk 8 hours a day, I can walk 40 kilometers a day. I can walk to Maun in 4 days.
You thought that you are not going to see him again because you are not going to be alive. This is obviously enormously emotional situation.
The decision to walk is not an easy decision to make. Will the people that are staying behind, will they cope without Costa and I? I'm worried that they don't have water. I'm worrying whether Mike can take care of both his wife and Neb. But it's the decision that I've made, so I decided to just go with my decision. And Costa and I set off.
They set out and we said bye-bye to them. I felt very vulnerable again because now I felt that I couldn't help in any way. I was just lying there and it wasn't my nature to feel helpless.
Mike has no idea how long he'll have to cope alone. Lynette is more thirsty than the others because she's losing moisture through her burnt flesh. Her only chance is that Carl and Costa will bring help soon. But as they continue walking through the bush, it becomes increasingly impenetrable.
Walking through the bush is turning out to be extremely difficult. You have thorns sticking into your clothes all the time.
But then they stumble across a solution.
Costa, over here, quick.
It's a track.
They've found an elephant path. The whole area is crisscrossed by hundreds of these paths, made by elephants treading down the foliage and knocking away the trees. And it should lead them to water.
The elephant walks from waterhole to waterhole, week in, week out, year in, year out, decade in, decade out. So it's a proper path. But these paths don't go 100% north.
Carl and Costa's need to find water could get them completely lost and bring them face to face with the biggest killer of man in the African bush. Plane crash survivors Carl and Costa have made the risky decision to leave their injured friends behind and trek out into the African wilderness to find help. They've been following elephant paths for hours and are desperate for water.
Costa, look.
Right in front of us, next to the path, is a water hole. It's just a really small, little, muddy water hole.
The problem is, the elephants got there first.
It smells awful. It tastes awful. It's full of excrement from the elephants, urine from the elephants. It's really foul.
The water is a breeding ground for dangerous bacteria. This putrid liquid might give them dysentery, which could be fatal.
I'm concerned that it would have harmful effects on my body. And yet, when you're thirsty, it's drinkable.
Back at the crash site, Lynette, Neb, and Mike are facing a similar dilemma.
What came to my mind is to drink urine, so that is something which will carry us alive. I was worried about kidneys, I was worried about dehydrating and things like that. There is nothing else we could do.
But recycling their urine is a short-term solution. It will soon become poisonous. Facing another night in the African bush, their only hope is that Carl and Costa have reached safety and will bring rescue in the morning.
We've now walked a whole day and we haven't come across any sign of people. We're exhausted, so we take one step out of the elephant path and lay down to go to sleep.
What they don't realize is that they're blocking the path of a herd of elephants.
Don't move.
Don't move.
It is absolutely petrifying. Costa's telling me not to move, but I'm unable to follow the instruction.
Luckily, the elephant decides to warn them off instead of trampling them to death. As night falls, the African bush has another surprise for them. The rain is a welcome relief, but Mike is struggling to collect it.
I put various plastic things around just to try to collect some water, because obviously that's what we need.
I woke up in the morning and I was aware that something was irritating my left hand. And I looked and I lifted up a little bit and I saw all these little wiggly things on my hand. And then I realized it was maggots.
I tried to clean the maggots out with my fingers, try to clean the wounds, because I thought it's a very bad thing what's happening.
Mike doesn't realize that the maggots are helping to cleanse Lynette's rotting wounds. For him, they're proof that he's powerless against the wildlife of the bush.
even a little bit of control and hope is going away. You start doubting, where is Carl and Costa? Why they're not coming?
The whole world has forgotten us.
After 3 days of walking in the blistering heat, Carl and Costa have still seen no sign of human habitation, and they're completely disoriented.
Mentally, this whole thing is starting to take its toll. I believe I hear a car, but I don't seem to get any closer to where the sound emanates from. I realized that it was my imagination. And I just wonder how I got myself into this mess.
It's much worse than he thinks. Not only are they hopelessly lost, but because they've been following the elephant paths, their route has zigzagged. They've walked for 60 miles, but in fact they're still only 20 miles from the crash site.
I'm older than Costa, so I think I'm mentally stronger, even if I'm not physically stronger. All my life I've been taught to be stoic. I realize that Costas and I have only ourselves to extricate ourselves from this situation. There's no alternative. You know, I have children, responsibilities that I have to take care of. I can't perish in Botswana. Can't do it. But I'm wondering for how long I can actually walk, keep it up like this.
For Lynette and Neb, things are going from bad to worse. Mike no longer has the energy to look after them.
I sort of fell into depression that afternoon. And I remember even it crossed my mind to go and commit suicide, take my belt or hang myself on the tree, because, you know, you just wanted to end it.
Carl and Costa are now dangerously dehydrated.
The most important thing in the world now is just to have something to drink. My lips are dry, my inside of my mouth is dry, my whole body just cries out for water. At around 12, we approach the water hole. I sort of go across the lip. There's no water. There's just no water. And I think that's when you can just sit down and cry. It was really getting down now, and you can't stop there. If I have to walk till kingdom come, I'll have to walk to find the water. I cannot go without it. As I got closer, I see the structure built against the side of the hill.
It's a hunting lodge, the only building for over 30 miles in any direction.
I see a young girl reading a magazine.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to frighten you.
It's quite a surrealistic experience.
My name is Carl du Plessis. We were in a plane accident. Can you please radio for help?
Without even asking, I just took a bottle of juice. And while I was drinking, I'm really worried about the people. Back at the plane, and I still don't know if I did the right thing to walk, if I shouldn't rather have stayed there.
It's now too dark to send out a rescue team.
It is difficult looking at the partner that dying. You just got married and then you lose your wife like that in such a bad accident or kind of stupid accident, call it.
I need to tell you something.
I said, I love you very much, and I honor you, and whatever happens in your life, my blessings, and I know that, you will find love again.
I was start seeing the vultures coming around our crash site. I felt that they coming for a meal.
Mike. Helicopter.
After 5 days here, even mosquito for me is like a helicopter. I just hallucinating.
Helicopter. Over here.
We need to make smoke. Put everything on the fire. Ah!
Although the Botswana Defence Force launched its largest ever rescue mission, the plane had crashed so far off course that they would never have found them in time.
One of the soldiers comes to me and look at me like this, I said, "Hey man, you're so strong."
If Carl had not made the decision to walk, all of them would have died in the African bush.